Hey there, good morning. Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and it's July 7th, 2018, and this is Fritz and Friends. We're going to write a little bit of code together. We're going to have a good time. Good morning, Will and Ozcoder. I think it's Ozcoder. I think, if I remember, you're coming in from Australia. It's a little bit late at night. Maker Blaker, good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me here on this fine Saturday. Let's get some music going in the background here. Of course, I'm wearing my Xbox hat today because I want to play a little games. I want to have a little fun. I'm midnight. Oh my gosh, Ozcoder. I'm in a good mood and I feel like writing a ton of code today. Random guy. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. Steve, you're already pretty busy here. It's 2018. You overslept. Yes. It's not that late. So let me get some music started here. I'm gonna play Red today from Music to Code By. So once again, this is music that's been engineered to get you in the flow, get you focused so you get stuff done. Is that Refate ID? Thank you. You're welcome for the videos. Thank you for watching them. I'm glad you enjoy them. I've had fun producing them. I always want to encourage folks to learn more and be able to do more with technology. So, thank you. And I know my English and Swedish friends are going to be tuning into the big football match that probably just kicked off there in Russia. England versus Sweden is about to start, and I know that's a huge match for both of them to get to the Final Four. The Final Four do they call it the Final Four in the World Cup? That's what we call it here in the States, the Final Four of the basketball tournament. Challenge from yesterday. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Will. Remind me or drop me a link that I can follow up on here. I wanted to take some time here this Saturday morning and start off with a little news, right? Go over. I want to try and get some common patterns into how I do the stream here, and I want to start off just doing a recap of news on the week, things that are happening, things that I've been doing that you might be interested in, things that I've found interesting that you may want to check out. 1204, Jeffrey Huntley. Hello. Yeah, very good morning, Jeff. What's the link to my gist? I don't have a gist. I have a GitHub. If you run the GitHub command, bang GitHub, in the chat room, it'll tell you what that is. There you go. That's funny. Nightbot reports it, and then my bot goes and translates the title. So I wanted to cover review a couple of the cool things that happened this week. Hey, Joe Bun, good to see you. I've got the scoreboard open here on the side, so I can monitor what's happening between the Swedes and the three Lions out there. Ticked over to Sunday. All right. So let me go over here. So a couple things that are going on this week. TwitchCon, the big conference for Twitch streamers, Twitch viewers, if you want to tune in, you want to hang out with some of the cool streamers. They just released tickets yesterday, I think it is. I got mine. I'll be at TwitchCon October 26th through 28th. I did submit a request, an abstract to speak. We'll see if they pick up on that. But I'm looking forward to this event. And they have actually an event they call Developer Day the day before at the San Jose Marriott, where they're actually going to teach folks a little bit of how to work with a developer platform out there. So I'm hoping to get into this as well. We'll see. I do have a couple of Twitch extensions in various states of baking out there that we'll see how they land. So TwitchCon's coming up. I've got my 2018 emote, badge. That's what it is. I've got my 2018 badge on my Twitch account. I'm really looking forward to this event. It's going to be the first event that I've signed up to go to as an attendee first, and not as a speaker in almost 10 years. That's weird for me, going to an event and actually attending and not planning it or organizing it. Yeah, we'll have fun with that. All right, next up, I was on Channel 9 at the beginning of the week with my friend Cecil Phillip, and I was talking about new features in ASP.NET Web Forms, and this is what my office actually looks like when I don't have chroma key turned on, and I don't drop out the settings behind me here. If you're interested in some of the things, configuration builders, dependency injection we talked about during this video, if you're interested in seeing how to do these with old school ASP.NET, I have a couple demos there. I've shown some of these things here on the stream. Check it out. And of course, if you have questions about it, I'm more than happy to go through and show those demos here on stream or over on YouTube. Maybe I'll make a YouTube video that goes through and really focuses on these. I don't know. I need to do more with YouTube, I think. Being an attendee just means more times for hallway conversations. Yeah, right? Instead of... I find when I'm speaking at an event, I end up being holed up in either in the speaker lounge or in my hotel room and frantically reworking and practicing my sessions for the event. And then when my sessions are over, I'm unwinding, and you will find me in the attendee track in the hallways having conversations. All right. So because I'm not speaking, I haven't added TwitchCon to the event panel over there. I don't know. Maybe I should put it in there because it's an event that I will be at. Maybe. I gotta think about that. All right. The other thing going on, and this is kind of cool, on a personal note, the boss, Scott Hunter, he's the director of .NET development, and I think I can share this because this is his public Twitter. He's hiking, he's taken the month off for vacation, for holiday, and he's hiking Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa with his daughter. So there's Scott with his daughter. They're already over 10,000 feet in elevation, and there's where they started. So, best of luck out there to you, Scott. We'll see you soon when you get back from scaling Mount Kilimanjaro. Very cool. All the best to him out there. All right. I wrote a blog post this week. I wrote 2 blog posts this week, I think. Yeah. First one is called Save a Technical Speaker, Bring a Presenter Pack. Now, for other folks out there that are speakers that do go and they present at events, maybe at your local user group or your local code camp or a big event like Dev Intersection or .NET Conf, there's a series of things that you as a speaker want to bring to make sure that your session goes well. Hey, there's my friend Kevin Griffin. Good to see you. And as a speaker, right, you're going to bring things like all your video connectors, power, mouse, all that stuff. But as an organizer, as the person who's coordinating and enabling all of those speakers, there's a bunch of stuff that you want to have on hand in case something happens to that speaker. So I showed, in response actually to somebody asking about this, some of the things that I bring, and I learned from this guy, Gary Brothers at Dev Intersection. Gary's an amazing person at helping speakers at events. I've been fortunate to speak at a number of the Dev Intersection events, and Gary has an amazing staff that helps him out, and he's always there to check in on every one of the speakers. Even though there's 10 sessions going on at the same time, he's able to go into every room, check in, and make sure that everybody has the stuff they need, and he's got a great staff wandering around and coordinating those folks. So I make sure I bring things like extra presenter wands, and I have an extra USB drive, and this is actually a pretty cool one that comes as part of a pen that I bring so that I've got both a pen and I've got a USB stick in case we need to move things from one machine to another because this machine is having problems with video or whatever. Taken care of. I've got 2 different USB-C adapters for video that also have a network adapter on it, and USB-A adapters. I've got a USB-A to USB-A to VGA adapter here. I've got a couple of mini DisplayPort adapters that go to VGA, HDMI, and DVI, and I bring an extra wired mouse, of course. Finally, of course, an international power adapter. That's always cool because if you do have folks from out of the States coming to the States, you want to be able to make sure that they have the right power adapter in case something happens to their machine. Or when I go to Stockholm, Berlin, wherever, I want to make sure that we can convert appropriately to, in that case, European power. So you can check out this blog post that I wrote up about all the different things that I bring. The big thing that I bring is I bring decongestant because nobody likes to hear a speaker or somebody on stream like me all congested and coughing and sneezing. Hey, thanks for the host, Dev Chatter. And it looks like Visual Studio's also hosting me, and it looks like Clark.io. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the hosting. The other blog post I put up is about, and people here on stream have asked me about my mechanical keyboard that you hear me typing on. Where did I get it? You know, what's so great about it? Here it is when I put it together and I was using my Surface Book 2. And I literally, for almost 6 years, I was using just laptops. So here's my Yoga, here's my MacBook Air, here's my Surface Book. And you look, they all have these spongy little keys that have very little travel versus the Vortex. And I do a complete unboxing here. And it's so cool. It came originally with just all gray keys, and I snapped in the colored ones, which I think really give this keyboard some character. Having the yellow arrow keys, blue enter key, right, the green shifts, it just looks nice. It looks really cool. Looks like you're using a Mac. I swap back and forth. I'll use a Mac, I'll use a PC, particularly when I'm speaking. I want to make sure that if I'm going to give a session about .NET on a Mac or .NET that's not on Windows, I don't want to be using Windows, so I won't use a Windows machine. I'll use a Mac, but I'm typically here on Windows. So this is my Vortex Race 3. There's a link here to go through. And if you want, you can get it from Amazon. And these are, for those of you that do follow mechanical keyboards, I am using cherry blue switches inside this keyboard. It's really nice. It's got 3 layers of programmability. And I've actually shut off the caps lock key. I've got the caps lock key now. I just did. See, this is how new I am to the mechanical keyboard thing. I just reprogrammed the caps lock key on the keyboard so that it opens PowerShell. Right, so with one, it just opens PowerShell when I hit caps lock. That's so cool. So, check it out. That's my keyboard. My friend Suze Hinton loves mechanical keyboards, and she's got a handful of them. I'm looking at, let me find a good picture of it here at the end. I'm looking at replacing my C and A keys here. I want to order some custom keycaps, and the Super C# logo I'm going to get printed on my C key, and I'm going to get the Azure A logo printed for my A keyboard. You'll need caps to be escape. No. I don't need caps lock. I never caps lock. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. But a G810, which one's that one? Oh, look at that. Logitech G810. Yeah, see, I don't need the numeric keypad on the side. Very nice. Is that volume up top there? Or? So, I'm not a fan of the multimedia buttons. I look at those and it's like, really, do I need those? So I'm okay with those being pushed to under a function key. And I like how nice and small and compact it is. Of course, you don't need caps, you need escape. Exactly. No Vim mode in VS Code or actual. No, I have escape. but I don't need caps, right? But I need tab, so that's pretty cool. And I also wired up, I think it's function up to automatically open Firefox, because I'm always opening Firefox. So that's my keyboard, the MS Wireless 3000, but I need to remap some more of the keys since I changed to a new machine. Let's take a look at that one. MS Wireless 3000. Microsoft Wireless 3000. Come on, show me. So I like this keyboard. This is a nice one, but the problem that I have with it is, really, Amazon? That's all you're going to do for me here? Thank you. It's so flat. There's like no profile to this. Right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Looks nice. I think many of us set up caps to be another escape so we don't have to rip the left pinky when we want back into normal mode. No, I completely take my hand off the keyboard and run up there to do escape. Logitech K350. All right. Logitech K350. Welcome to This Week in Keyboards. Okay, now the media center completely disconnected up top there, and it almost as a controller just mounted on the top of it because it's got that ergonomic curve in it. That's pretty cool. Zoom buttons on the side. Okay. All right. The fact that it's completely separate like that, right, and it's not intruding as much, that's not too bad. You're already losing a lot of space because you're on that curve. But has numpad, has keys for tabbing apps, and is ergonomic. Yeah. It has some profile and feet. I like the feel. Okay. Yeah, oh my gosh, I love the sound on mine. Oh. So there you go. And like I said, I'm going to try and get a couple keycaps made. I was actually thinking it might be cool to make up a bunch of those keycaps to bring to TwitchCon and hand out. I don't know. We'll see. 15 minutes in, still 0-0. Sweden and England. All right. So, let's start taking a look at our code. Let's take a look at the code. So I noticed my green panel here, right? My tile wall is filling up really nicely here. I've been doing a lot of work, lot more open source work than I was in the months prior, where I was spending a lot of time, right, shepherding applications. And since I started the stream back here in November, you can see I've been busy. All right, I have a few pull requests that I want to take a look at. Those colored keys remind me of the old 1980 paint box. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. I like it a lot. It looks friendly. So, and they're not LED keys. They're, right, I do have LEDs under that light up depending on the different functionality that you get running here. And I think it looks pretty cool. All right, let's start taking a look at some of these pull requests. Yes, the Xbox cap, because I'm feeling good today. I feel like writing a lot of code. I've got a clear day ahead of me, and I'm feeling pretty good about. My gosh, we finished a couple of really big things in CoreWiki this week. We got the diff working. Now it'll do the proper. You can compare versions of articles, and you see this really nice diff. And we got GitHub data being logged into the database. We finished that work on F# Friday. And I think I'm ready to finish the C# parts of our GitHub scoreboard here today. I think we can do that today. Xbox Liga hat today when I was watching some road racing. All right. 20 minutes in, still 0-0. All right. Looking good. What is this? Am I still using OBS? We got to get you upgraded to vMix. Written in .NET XAML layouts, it's a professional broadcast tool, TV station in the box. Jeff Huntley is saying. So I'm going to use a real programming language today. Yes, I'm going to use JavaScript. No? No? Come on. Hang on. I got to see what Jeffrey Huntley's talking about here. vMix? vMix. Software Vision Mixer. vMix? Live video streaming software. vMix. Alright, let's check this out. Produce, stream, record, F# Live. Facebook Live, Periscope, Twitch, YouTube. I notice Mixer isn't on the list. Just saying. Download free trial. Buy now. Comparison table. Watch demo video. And view features. World exclusive. And it's a world exclusive. Alright. vMix reference systems. I don't need a reference system. I've got a system. I'm not buying something new here. But I really enjoy using OBS. The question's going to be, and the only complaint I have about OBS is closed captioning. So what do you get in the free trial? Let's start there. Download a free 60-day trial. And how much is it? Before I go any further. Basic HD, $60. Total inputs. Wait, you're going to control the number of inputs that I have? And the number of overlays? Dude. Dude. External outputs, full screen outputs. And I can't script it, which means I can't use my Stream Deck. You've lost me. You're nickel and diming me here when OBS is free. It is amazing. Think of it as Channel 9 and $100. I don't want to think about Channel 9. Let's start there. It's going to be bigger topic than this stream another time. Overlays is TV overlays. Inputs is TV inputs, like physical hardware. I'm going to need to take a look. The big question for me is auto closed captioning. That, and I've actually got a number of folks using OBS that I'm now supporting. Full NDI. I've got NDI plugins in my OBS now. Touchscreen web interface, professional color. Find out more. I need to know about captioning. Closed captioning is my biggest concern here, and if you have the closed captioning turned on. Soon all stream tools widgets are overlays as extensions. That's a problem because you can only have 3 overlay widgets in Twitch. And honestly, I don't think you want to be able to touch those overlays. Hey, J1859. It's a scam. I'm not, hang on. For churches, no. Purchase, partners, forum support. My big thing is the caption. There, and it doesn't even talk about closed captioning. Right, just doing a search for captioning, it's not there. Is there anything in the forums about closed captioning? Because captioning in OBS is dreadful. It's awful. If you turn on the captioning, aren't they also called subtitles? Yes. However, the term that you'll hear folks use is closed captioning. I just used web captioner for a conference that was presented, needed captions projected in Spanish. So I want them on the secondary channel so they're not mixed in. Right, I could turn on web captioner here and No, I don't have a question. I know all about it. Incompatible browser. Yeah. Right. That's... So Web Captioner runs off of Google... Hey, look, Pandora. That's about the only reason I use Chrome. But if I turn on Web Captioner, yes, allow it to take a look at my microphone, and now it actually does. It does a really nice job with the closed captioning. The extensions have component overlays and panels. Yes, they do, but you can only have 3 of those on your Twitch stream at the same time. That's a limit to the service. So now I've got this giant caption here. I mean, this is nice if I wanted to use it, but then everybody's forced to see it, and then I lose the whole bottom of the... Right, if I make it lower third. And now it's just there. And I can't make it go away. So, nice, but it doesn't do what I need. But I see nobody talking about... It's 17 pages. I just need to know if there's a... Overlays as OBS widget. Then they're burned into the video, and everybody always sees the overlay. Everybody always sees the caption. That's not what I want. Because then I'm going to lose space here, where I have my alerts pop up to close captioning. And I don't want that. 26 minutes in, still 0-0. Alright. Enough about streamer tools. I wanted to take a look at the couple of pull requests that we have here. It looks like Emo is working through a couple of things here on CoreWiki, where we're refactoring out the direct references to Entity Framework in our web application. It looks like Parathon is working a little bit here, and they're testing and working a little bit. The interaction is too tightly coupled to Entity Framework right now as we start to break out of being just a simple wiki application. Fritstream Broadcasting Suite.net. Let's get coding it. Oh man. No. The English scored? Did the Lions score? The English took the lead. Oh my gosh. Okay, it says England takes the lead, and it rolled my scoreboard back to the 26th minute, and it's still 0-0 on my scoreboard. ESPN cannot keep up with the crush of people trying to tune in and get the latest updates on the World Cup here. That's sad. No. Smab, I think you've got reason to be excited. So it looks like Emo's still working on this, and they're moving along at a pretty good pace. I'm not going to dig into this right now, but I have some opinions of how I'd like to see this develop. I think they're moving in the right direction, but like I said, I want to get to a repository pattern where I'm not directly calling Entity Framework interactions. Let's hide Entity Framework, because when we do bring in something like Cosmos or a different architecture, we're going to run into issues because that Entity Framework abstraction has leaked all over our web code. Can you suggest how you want it to be done? Sure. Be happy to. Let me go back over to Visual Studio. Where's CoreWiki? There it is. I'm watching the stream with a big delay, so I'll just wait for Fritz to notice. To notice what? What am I gonna notice? There it is. Now it's updated. 1-0, England. Or is it? Yeah. Lions took the lead. All right. Where did my Solution Explorer go? There it is. So what I'm looking at here, and what I mean by what? Why am I waiting here? Cut it out with that spinning thing. I'm just looking at my code. Jeez. Oh, so I can do everything, but you're just going to tell me to wait? Pain in my neck. The score instead of me announcing it. Oh, did they score again? Did they score again? All right. So what I'm running into here, and where I think we might want to improve things, that's not a wait cursor. No, it's not. It's I'm doing something in the background, and you're gonna need to wait. Some things might work, right? Like, come on. Okay. So what I mean by the abstraction is leaking out, the entity framework abstraction is leaking out, is something like right here. I'm getting a single article. Didn't we beat the English? We can handle them. No, wait, Brave Cobra, I'm trying to remember where you're from. I don't know. The Americans, we beat the English. But the Americans didn't even make it to the stinking tournament. It's purging all the F-sharp weirdness in the background. Low blow. Oh. Man. But this is one of the places where I see the entity framework leaking out, okay? And where emo it started a really great. Oh, Belgium, there we go. Gosh, and the Belgians moved on. Yeah, Jeffrey, the F-sharp yesterday. Some of the folks here, Brave Cobra and Joe Bun, to name two, expressed a little concern with F-sharp. Are we thinking making iRepository and repository classes? I think that's where I think we want to get to. So you've abstracted a context interface. Synaptic Code asks, well, hang on, let me finish with EM triples. So, if we have a repository object, we can generally refer and say, get one article, and here's the slug for it, or get article by slug, and then put this code behind it, and then change that out appropriately when we go to Cosmos DB, MongoDB, or some other provider as we, or even, right, read from the read reporting database that it lives in, or storage, Azure Storage, and when we do a save, instead of doing all these gyrations here, put all those behind the scenes in the repository. So all that the page is doing is saying, here's all my data, save it. And maybe we put it on a service bus, and it gets picked up by a microservice and appropriately stored at that point. Synaptic Code asks, any chance you know a Microsoft MVP named Julie Lerman? She has lots of entity framework courses on Pluralsight site. Would be awesome to get her on stream to show us best practices for EF Core. Do 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 do. Hi there. Ooh, my name is Jim. Look at the hair. Do 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 do. Answer one question. Which of these movies have you heard of? Yes. Yes. Specify. Here's the object that we're returning. There she is.
You don't have to create an HTTP result.
There she is.
There's a helper. There's
a helper method that does that for us.
Ooh,
and Brave Cobra was here then too.
I'm not acting.
So there you go.
I am not
So we've had Julie on stream,
My
and
end of the
I'm actually setting up to have Julie on stream again to talk with us about DDD and some other design ideas, design topics. I'm working to try and get this architecture workshop happening on Friday this week. I need to talk to my speakers. I'm not sure I'm going to have enough content for a full 8-hour day, but I need to reach out to those folks. Is this going to be some kind of F# versus C# thing? No, not at all. Not at all. I'm trying to learn F#. As missed that one. Oh yeah. Check it out. There's a full 8-hour building an ASP.NET Core application workshop out on YouTube. Completely free. Check it out. As you saw, there's some advertisements around it that help support some of the things that we're doing here on stream. But Julie's a good friend. I've asked her to join us on stream again, and looks like we're going to have that happen. I've also got Glenn Block coming up. Iris Klassen's going to join us again. I was just speaking to Benjamin Howarth. He's going to join us in a week or two here as well. Talk about front-end web design and performance. So, to finish about EM Triple, I would absolutely like to see an I repository object that doesn't leak any of the information about Entity Framework into the application. And that's where I think we should end up at. I'll actually write that comment in here. Let's consider using I repository. There we go. And repository classes in order to prevent Entity Framework objects and context from appearing in our web code. I think we're moving in the right direction here, and by introducing that, it'll make things easier to refactor going forward. Annoyingly, the long workshops always happen when I'm working away from my computers. Sorry about that. I'm not doing that on purpose, I promise you. Next one here from Danny is remove app data from git ignore so new users can run the app. Now this is something, yeah, this is pretty easy to see. And this is Programming with Dan here on Twitch. Makes perfect sense to remove app data and include that. I'm not going to include all this other nonsense. Don't need that. We'll let that merge. Thanks for the submission. And just thanks for the submission. There we go. All right. Last one to look here is from Smab, talking about the slug and issues where it's not, we're having some consistency issues with it. Fixes cases where the slug is returned as blank. Well, that's definitely a problem. Topic should not be converted to lowercase before being slugified. Right. Because it misses hyphens in the slug, homepage becomes homepage instead of home-page. Yes. Fixes issue where homepage slug was renamed to homepage instead of home-page. So there's an update in the create, an update in the edit. Okay. I just refreshed the page. It says C# Fritz commented 2 minutes from now. Have you seen my DeLorean? It'll do 88 miles an hour. I don't see how var slug equals this. Oh, okay. You removed the 2 lower, and then you did some space cleanup, and did the check here. Okay. That's fine. That works for me. Thanks for catching this and applying the fix. All right. Now this should have closed 147 and 148. Let's just double check over here. Yep, closed. And undeletable article. All right. And we'll come back to that. I think that's all I have now for Core Wiki. Cool. All right. Hey, gosh, Dan, you just missed me merging your pull request. Okay. Let's go over to Stream Tools here. And I think Nemanja, where are we with this top command? I've changed top command, try to make use of DI. I try to copy your way of name clients per proxy. I had some issues. Is this ready to merge? What's the status? Because it still has the work in progress on it. I don't want to go digging through and analyze exactly what's going on there. And Brave Cobra was working on changing the marquee that we have up at the top for the scoreboard to a web component. Okay, no additional changes here. Use the same marquee library, use a package JSON to have all the trouble ahead there. Okay. Thanks so much, Programming with Dan. Okay, then. I think I'm ready to roll over and change. Animations have problems running in a shadow DOM. Yes. I can believe that. So I'm going to get a copy of Stream Tools here. What do I have here? Go away, I don't want that. And I'll use my caps lock key to automatically open PowerShell because somebody was saying I need to do PowerShell. Is there anything in that project? Anything over there? No. We're good. I don't see the benefit so much anymore. I don't want to include jQuery in the component either. All right. So this project, right, is trying to make it easier to download and work with samples. It's at a good spot now where I can talk to some of the other folks on the .NET team at the .NET Foundation and talk about where I want to take sample interaction. With the idea here being I want to dramatically simplify the time it takes for new developers, existing developers, to go from, hey, it'd be great if I could find some code that does X, to actually having that code running on their system. So this is a good step towards that. Are you ever going to merge feature HTTP capture into dev? Where's that at? In Stream Tools? Oh gosh. 2 commits ahead, 22 behind. I don't remember what we're working on over here. Conditional. Oh. This is where we were refactoring to do the dependency. Hang on. Yeah, I bet you can't automatically merge. No, didn't want to do that. Bad idea. Yeah, this is about the different ways that we made the commands conditional and we set them up with dependency injection. This is a really good idea that we started going through here. You're right, Joe Bun. I completely forgot about this. At the half, 1-0, England leads. Yeah, let's merge this, because this will simplify the commands that we're building going forward. And I want to get back into working on more with the chatbot, because there are a couple things there that we do need to fix. Let's do the pull request deal. Da, da, da. And now I've got some collisions that we're going to need to resolve. So let's start working on resolving collisions. I've got 2 PowerShells open, and that's too many. Right here. Let's see. Stream tools. And then we're going to work on the scoreboard after this. Let me make sure I have the latest. Okay. Come on. Alright, there's my collisions. Configure services, the bot, and image descriptor. Alright. And of course, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code to do the merge because I like Visual Studio Code. I'm finding, I feel like my voice is getting very radio guy today. And I'm not doing that intentionally. Alright. Required assets to build and debug. Sure, go ahead. Do your thing. Now everything's turning red on me. No! Let's scroll down here. Alright. API response dispose or API response ensure status code. I think we want to ensure status code. Yeah. And I don't want to dispose. Let that be handled by that. I think we're good there. Over here. Oh, look at all the blue and green. Oh no. Oh no. All right. Okay. I had an internal constructor, and we removed that in favor of these. We have ensure status code twice? Do we? Did I miss that? I do. You know what, then... No! Where'd it go? Was it here? Oh, look at that. Nice. Then I want to take the current so that we dispose of it, so that we don't ensure status code twice. What do you think, Joban? Is that good? Hey, look who's here. Hey, Chris. Space Shot TV is here. Good morning. I saw that there is an ASP.NET Core Signal R session at Philly.net this week. Philly.net's my local user group. And I think I'm going to try and make it over to attend that session this week. I don't see Chris actually saying anything in the chat room here. Somebody's handcuffed Space Shot. Help him out there. He's got a problem. He's not able to actually type. Somebody help him. Somebody. Anybody. Not your code for sure. Alright. So that's cleaned up. Is there something? We've got an error here because I command. There's Dungeheimer fan. Is this going to become a daily thing with you? Every time that I'm broadcasting, hey, can you do a shout out to Germany? I literally have a pile of hats over here. Guten Nachmittag, Deutschland. All right, there you go. There's your good afternoon, Germany. That's better. There's probably a problem with iCommand. Fix that first. What? What, Chris? I know. I've got the Germans. They're not in the football tournament anymore, so they gotta have something here, right? Gotta do a thing. It's right over there. I'd put on my Eagles hat, but the green screen would make it all disappear. Somebody clip that. No! The hats hide the cool-looking hair that needs to breathe. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Look at that. Ugh. You think a German interested in soccer would sit here and watch this instead of watching the English play? Yes. All right. Where were we? All right, so I command. Why doesn't it like I command? Not so sure. There's beer to be drunk. And Dota feeding, I see, just popped into the chat room. Good morning, Dota feeding. Gotta get you on Heroes of the Storm there, Mr. Feeding? Let me know. So why doesn't it like iCommand? iCommand is now... We got rid of iCommand, didn't we? Now we have iBasic command and iExtended. Basic command has a trigger, a description, and a cooldown. And... yeah, we're going to need to refactor and fix this because... And then extended command, I thought... Can execute. You know what? We also need a nice description on what these things are between basic and extended. So basic, right, is the simple command. The extended, it'll trigger based on whether or not it can execute. Oh, thanks for the follow, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. And Steve, you're not so busy here today. We need to work on this, everybody. What's going on there? Okay. So I think we want the page title command to be an extended command. And let's implement the interface, which means that I've got some code that we need to write here. Order final. I forget what final is. It's been forever since we looked at this, Jopun. If true, don't run other commands after this one. Okay. Cooldown. I don't... Right, so this one we're going to return null. There is no cooldown needed for that. There we go. The Davinator. The Davinator, thank you for the follow. And Davinator, please don't tell me that your real name is Steve. That'd be weird. Let's see what we've got here. So final, no, it can do something else after this. And the order. This is going to fire, this should fire after the image descriptor command. Where's the order on this one? 10. So let's make this 20. All right, so it fires after the other one. And then there should be... Right, there's one area, there's the next area, then way down here there's another bit of blue. Can execute. Do I unit test? I should. Oh my gosh!
6 months sure flies by.
Thanks so much, Space Shot. That's our friend Chris. Absolutely, it does fly by, and thank you for using your Twitch Prime subscription. Of course, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, here we go, here's the once a stream Amazon advertisement. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can turn that into a Twitch Prime subscription for free. You're already paying for Amazon Prime. You get Twitch Prime free, which means you get to turn off all the ads all over Twitch. You don't have to watch any of the pre-roll advertising, and you can support one channel for free. And if you decide to use, your channel subscription here with me, I will match your subscription. We'll make a donation together to Girl Develop It so that girls, underserved minorities, women can learn how to write code just like we are here. So thanks so much for your support. And of course, folks that do subscribe, you get a cool C# bot emote and a C# bot emote. And if you want to buy one of the higher level subscriptions, there's other emotes you can get as well. There's a blue hat, and there's also at the top level, which is completely flattering. You can get the super C# emote that you can use in the chat room. Right. Hang on. Da-da-da. Right, so you get that emote. There it is. So, very cool stuff. Thanks so much for the support. Yep, there you go. Hello, Gandalf. EM Triple, I thought women are the best coders. True story. The leads on the ASP.NET Web Forms team, the lead on the WCF team, the lead engineers, all women. The lead engineers, I'm trying to think, on the program manager for Visual Basic, the program manager for the .NET command line interface, women. So, absolutely. I completely agree. Am I safe to walk around here as a Java developer? Absolutely, Martin. Isn't VB and CLI the same? You're splitting hairs there. Yes, it is. And no, Java developers certainly are welcome. We're programming in C#. But of course, I've written enough Java in my time. I've written a Android app or two. Never published them, but I'm familiar enough with them. Thank you for the follow, Martin. I appreciate that. We're closing in on 2,700 followers. Look at it down there. Hey, that's my name right there. All right. It feels weird. It's almost like I'm on a podium here. Hello. I'm Jeff. Question, sir. Fresh grad here. If I want to keep up with what's going on with ASP.NET, which sites do you recommend? No? No? What sites do I recommend? So, if you want to keep up with what's going on with ASP.NET, of course, you should keep an eye on www.asp.net. So, there is a community spotlight here where you'll see all kinds of news that comes from the blogs from Microsoft, typically, as well as some things from the community, gets interwoven in here. The ASP.NET Community Stand-Up is available here at Live ASP.NET, where you'll see the program managers from the ASP.NET team hosting a stream every Tuesday. And they'll answer your questions, and they'll talk about the things that are coming up. Thank you, Zilmont, for the follow. Oh my gosh. And thank you for the subscription. Using your Twitch Prime. It looks like Martin just used his Twitch Prime also. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your Prime subscription here with me. And of course, we'll match and make a donation to Girl Develop It. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. Watches this stream is a pretty good start, as Jeff will often show new features. Yes, Chris is right. Space Shot is right. I will frequently show new features as they are announced and as they're coming out here. The program managers, as they're speaking, they'll typically answer higher, more technical questions here on the community stand-up. And we've had Scott on the show here. We've had John Galloway on the show. Damien is extremely busy, and we haven't had a chance to have Damien on, but we'll go through and we'll show a lot of the things that these guys talk about and give you a chance to interact and ask questions about them, and of course walk through. And I like to try and keep things at a big introductory, beginner, novice level here as much as possible until we need to get into more advanced things. And when we do, we'll go deep in advanced topics as much as we need to cover those. Referring to myself, of course I was. There are techniques C# developers can learn from Java people and vice versa. Absolutely. Java and C# do a lot of the same. Yes. Oh, yes. The local function handle extended commands in Fritzbot shows how extended commands use the final flag. Let's take a look at that. And yes, the community stand-up is fantastic. It's been changing recently. You'll see the guys aren't all always there all the time. But they do a pretty good job. Okay, the local function handle in Fritzbot CS down here, which has a conflict. Oh gosh, has a lot of conflicts we need to resolve. Handle extended commands. There we go. And there it is. Well, there's handle basic commands. Handle extended commands. Here we go. Okay. Return true if no other commands should be run. Returns true if no other commands should be run. For each command in the extended commands list, make sure we have a command name. If it can be executed and it's not too fast, and it is too fast, return false. Otherwise, execute it and then run the after execute. What's the after execute? Last command time, command executed time map. Okay. I think it is indeed just the feeling of the syntax to what someone prefers. Yes, absolutely. A couple of years ago, it was depending on if you want to work cross-platform, but I find Microsoft doing extremely awesome things with that. Martin, I'll also say, Oracle, I don't think, is investing as heavily in Java development as they were in years past. I think the lawsuit with Google over ownership and the presence of Java as the application development platform for Android, really losing that lawsuit, losing that case against Google, I think soured Larry Ellison and his team on investing in building the Java platform when, in their mind, it's supporting Google and their multi-billion-dollar Android industry. Because they weren't getting a piece of it because it's all open source. This is the merge nightmare you feared. Yes, Joe Bun. Here it is. So I think you're seeing Oracle back off on that, on significant Java innovation, where Microsoft is definitely innovating, investing. The open sourcing of .NET, the open sourcing of C#, VB, and F# is a dramatic step to allowing everybody to work with .NET, whether it's in the cloud. And there's features available for Amazon, Google, Azure, any cloud provider to use and make .NET run great in the cloud, all the way down to the IoT devices. And you're now seeing .NET Core compile and run great on IoT devices, on the Raspberry Pi. So it's happening. There's definitely a shift there. And personally, I always had a little bit of a challenge with Java in that it felt like there wasn't as prescriptive a base class library as there is with .NET. Still missing desktop support for Linux in C#. Yeah, and the move with Core 3 is going to bring desktop support in Windows. Once that is satisfied, I think there's an opportunity to reevaluate providing desktop support on those other platforms. I think Xamarin Forms has done a tremendous job bringing that support, and since Xamarin Forms is free and open source, you can use it. So why not? Any books you recommend to a beginner ASP.NET MVC programmer? Oh yeah, that's me. Actually, that book is from ASP.NET 1. It's already 3 versions out. So I unless you're working with those older versions, but the concepts from MVC are all still there. Without a picture, no, those books don't come with pictures. Those aren't the one, right? You're thinking of Rocks. They put the pictures on there. If you want desktop with Core right now, Avalonia, yes, is trying to do that. Absolutely. I don't believe desktop support for Linux and C# is part of .NET Core 3. Correct. It is more for Windows desktop and UWP. Getting Windows Forms, WPF, UWP, getting all of those, a rich story with .NET Core support running great. And if everything lands properly, I'm hoping there'll be an announcement at Build. That's no guarantee on the timelines, but right, 2019, there's a Build conference that's going to happen in 2019. It'd be great if that happens at Build. But I don't manage that team. I don't know if they're going to make it. But it'd be pretty cool. I know of that one. Still a bit sketchy. Yeah. That's the problem with books. They get outdated so fast. Books take the better part of 6 months to a year to write, and you'll see 2 versions of ASP.NET Core in that time. At which point, you'll do better to watch a video on Microsoft Virtual Academy, on Wintellect Now, on Pluralsight. So, performance in GTK Sharp is an issue. Well, yeah. Linux is tricky. There is not just one single SDK. True. So even if Microsoft would support GTK, there would still be sad faces. Yes. And Linux desktop is not exactly many people. Exactly. So the challenge then is if Microsoft picks a desktop framework and says this is the one we're going to support, they're literally choosing a winner in the Linux desktop. And that's going to be a problem for Linux people. They're going to have a real hard time. And they might get even angrier at Microsoft. How dare you come into our community and choose to support one desktop framework and not the other? I use KDE. Why aren't you supporting KDE? Why are you supporting GNOME? Come on, really? Don't forget Miguel's history. Yes. Oh, yes. But do you want that? What about Electron? Still the big downside that it is just a stripped Chromium browser. There's a bigger problem with Electron than just as a development platform. Consider you there. Come here. Consider this. Let's go over to... Walk with me over here. Consider this with the Chromium applications, and I'm thinking specifically of things like Discord and Slack, right? Teams, even. Microsoft Teams is built on Chromium. The problem with those is take a look at how fast the Chromium browser, and the Chrome browser, if you don't have Chromium installed, or the Chrome Canary, look at how frequently you get updates to that, okay? Chrome browser rolls out updates very, very quickly. several times a month at times. And the problem that you're running into is you have all these apps out there that don't take the Chrome updates. So they're not rolling out a new version when there's a Chrome security fix, when there's a Chrome memory leak fix. And there's no way to service those applications from the framework that they're built on, right? They're dependent on Chromium, and they're getting crushed there. So, as a stable SDK, it is quite perilous because the browser changes, right? And folks want to do new things in there. Folks want to do, as backwards as it may sound, folks want to do WebAssembly in an Electron app. You want to put a binary in a browser app so that you have cross-platform capabilities deploying as an app. And this is an open source challenge that's going on. That applies to any library with a security fix. There's nothing specific about Electron on that. Sure there is. Libraries with security fixes that use a base class library, like Java, like the Java runtime, like the .NET base class library. You can deploy an update to that base class library, and everybody gets the fix at the same time. Otherwise, you've got to force people to install updates of your applications, and you as a developer need to be responsible to publish updates to your applications. And a lot of folks are not. Which one of those is the secure one? Yeah. The Linux distro family tree. Let me see if I can grab that link here. Or CDN from Ars Technica. Yow! That's a lot coming off of Debian. Wow. Yeah. Oh, look, spacebar is a defect. Who doesn't use the spacebar, uses underscores instead. Good morning. All right. Let's go back over to the code and get back into writing this. Any library you use in your app has the same issue. You cannot fix everything in the core. So. All right. So the HTTP page title command I need to finish can execute. How do we determine if this can be executed? Now so this is, here we go. Let's get rid of this. I don't need that right now. I don't need that right now. Image descriptor command probably, oh no, it does do it. Can execute, there it is. The HTTP title command in the Fritzbot, handle HTTP page title, here it is. This is where it's deciding whether or not to do. Look at one of the working extended commands. Yeah, like image descriptor. Right. So there's a check here based on the command text and the username. Got to start my game project today. Been live for a while, but kind of stuck. Oh, all right. Consider Electron as a library NuGet, and the same reasoning applies for every one of them. Ah. So Brave Cobra, there should be a way then to update that library, to deploy an update to that library and patch those applications. And yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge to do. Hey, look who's here. Calum3. How you doing, Glenn? Patches are shipped every month, but don't make a big deal about it. Well, everybody knows about Patch Tuesday, but yes. 4 versions are getting patched every month at the same time. Calum's referring to .NET. But yes, if someone adds hardware support for WASM, we'll literally be back at compile C for a processor. Ooh, hang on, I'm trying to catch up here. Line 38. Might want to remove the regex for perf reasons to the class level. I think you're referring to here? NPM outdated will tell you what to do. Right. And we're actually seeing some folks do that as well with .NET. There's a .NET outdated. I was thinking about Node. Close-up of a map. Yep, there we go, Brave Cobra. Exactly. So Jeffrey was suggesting let's move this out to a class level so that we're not rebuilding this regex here each time. And I think that's a good idea. Let's take this. I'm going to pop that in there. I can get rid of that. And then let's move this up. And let's make this a private static. That's not how you spell static. Read only regex. Nope. This is the URL check. So instead of calling this R, it's URL check. Done. What if it's const instead of a var? Same issue. Yeah, you're still allocating it every time. Otherwise, every time the regex is validated allocations. Yeah. So that simplifies that a little bit. It's allocated once at first reference. And yeah, it'll be disposed of when this is disposed. So that will help with this image descriptor. I need to do the same thing over here on the title command. Gosh. Holy crow, there's a lot here. Can execute, here it is. So I have this code. I think that still parses the regex each time. No. Moving it out so that it's up at the top. That'll create it once and stash it in memory. Where can I read about that optimization? What's it called? That's a good question. What is that called? I've been among the most viewed streams on programming, but then you showed up again. Oh, gosh, spacebar. I'm not trying to displace anyone. If you're streaming later, I'll be happy to raid. I think DevChatter has a DI build for command already. Okay. There is a compiled option. How did the C# thing of adding an I before interface names start? That was kind of a thing from the beginning of .NET. String creation, not a regex. It is a regex, yes. So I could compile this. Right, regex options, compiled. We could do that. I'm okay with that too. But let me go back to the title command. So I want to move this can execute, which is this bit right here where it says, right, does this contain the link? And this merge is going to be a mess. You're right, Joe Bun. Trap off. I think you're right. It's a bit of Hungarian notation-ish. Ish? Yeah. Ish. Ugh. If only your later was my later as well. Oh, alright. Wasn't the interface I thing even in COM? Did we have interfaces in VB6? Yeah. Yeah, it was in COM. Alright. I think this is all that I really need to do is return that. Right, can execute is going to be HTTP title, page title command contains link. And we already have contains link here. And then it's taking Earl regex. Where's that? And then the message. Where's Earl regex? Not the image check pattern. Come on, where is it? I know it's here. Ew. Okay, so it's allocated up at the... Oh man, this is a mess. Oh, look at that. It's coming out of configuration. Why was that put into configuration? Who was it that you hosted last Saturday after the stream that was writing a wiki and was showing the repository pattern with a generic repo? I don't know. I don't think it was Dev Chatter. I'd have to go look. I'm not sure. I'm not thrilled with this. Generic repository is a pretty good thing. I'm okay with that. This, I'm not sure I want that coming out of configuration. And why are you pulling configuration root here? Right, this feels like we're chasing. We're allocating and reallocating here unnecessarily, I think. It's not. I'm not. Oh, okay. Right, because if I check app settings, this is a messy merge. Yeah. I don't even see it here. Earl regex, title regex, page title message template. Oh, see there. That's going to be a problem. Default used. Yeah, okay. Link message template not set, default used. Not my code. Yeah, I know. Divide by 0 show. He wasn't building a wiki. So where else is it setting that? There is no default. Okay, hang on. So HTTP page title command, if string is null or empty, default URL regex. And there it is. Okay, so now, don't remember the actual case, but I was having some issues with generic repository pattern. It's not for any situation where you want a persistent data layer. I disagree that they're leaky abstractions. I think a generic repository that provides the default CRUD capabilities, and then you extend that generic repository with those appropriate domain-specific capabilities, are appropriate. The fact of the matter is, 80% of the folks out there that are building applications, Monday morning are going file new Windows Forms project, and they're building something to do some new accounting capability that they need in their organization. They don't need more than CRUD. They don't need more than create, read, update, and delete. They're not doing significant business logic where they really need to get in and get crazy. When you do start thinking about things where you have significant business logic, you have business rules that you need to start implementing that are a little bit different, okay, now you're not on a generic repository. But for that 80% that are just doing, they've got a grid with some edit screens, no need. All right. So I'm running into the same thing here, where, hallelujah, Captain Peru, say it with me now. Reach out there, cheer along with me. Praise the code. For me, the trick has always been figuring out just enough to do. How long this project live and change? Yes. That is the real trick. If it doesn't need to be extended and maintained for years, if you need to build an application that needs to last as long as a new car that you purchase, you better have some really good development techniques and management capabilities. If you just need it for the next couple months because you're running a marketing campaign, you've got some accounting rules that are different for the 2018 accounting book, and you only need it for the next few months, get the code done as fast as possible. Use whatever shortcuts, whatever reuse you can. Keeping the repositories non-generic keeps things simple for simple CRUD. To each their own. There are times when it makes sense to have really amazing architecture. There's other times where it makes sense to reuse as much code as possible. And there's different times for both. You should play the Interstellar soundtrack if you're talking about Black Matter devs. How about this? If we're talking about Black Matter devs. It does depend. Yes. Okay. There we go. Oh, actually, here you go. Dark Matter devs, we should play this. No. Anyways. Alright, enough with that. Go back to that song. How often does that happen? You can take the what if so far if you really want to. Don't need to discard a good enough solution for most scenarios just because an exception will come up. Depends. Different organizations have different needs for their development teams. If you're building software and your job is to sell software, that's different than an organization and a development team that supports an organization that sells insurance. And here's their policy they're selling this year, they're marketing this way. Here's the rules around it. And for the next 6 months, that's what they're going to be selling. That's a different set of requirements than we're building this application that we're going to sell and we're going to bootstrap the company to for the next 15 years. Different scenarios, different applications, different needs, different life cycles. Different. Depends on your needs. Not everybody is building the next web framework, the next JavaScript framework that's going to, I was going to say make $1 million, but no JavaScript frameworks make $1 million. They make them for the trainers. Change wasn't anticipated, and that's why we refactor. Steve Smith has some great thoughts on generic repositories. They aren't. Different people, different needs. So. But they are. Webpack is over $400,000. They're making $400,000 a year on Webpack. How are they making money on Webpack? How do you make money on a JavaScript framework? Similar stories with Vue.js and Aurelia. Silently mining Bitcoin. Let me know. Here come the Bitcoins now. See? Here come the Bitcoins. One thing I don't like is with the repository pattern is assumed to be generic. That's different. Absolutely. Silently mining Fritzcoin. Fritzcoin. Yes, that's what we'll do. Fritzcoin. It's delightful. Thank you, Smithers. Funding open source. Our Webpack reached 400K a year. Really? Well, they're getting donations. Is that what the thing is here? They're doing donations? I mean, how do you... it's one thing to get donation support, but what's the business model there? You can't just be... Okay, they sold a support agreement to Trivago. And the Open Collective... Right, they're getting donations, they're getting support from the foundations. Is what's going on there. They're not actually selling, but instead they've got, open source foundations and folks donating to support the growth. That's okay. That's fine. There's a mindset, crowdfunding, there you go. There's a mindset for a lot of folks in East Coast companies and from folks that I was talking to in Europe, they have a similar approach where if we're going to open source something, how am I going to make money on it? If I'm going to write some software, how am I going to make money on it? It's not, hey, this is a really, like on the West Coast, when I hang around in San Francisco and I talk to folks out there, there's, hey, this is really cool, let's go do this. There is no consideration for business model or the return of an investment, right? There's two things that the business folks that I've talked to, the investors, the venture capitalists, the angel investors talk about when I talk to those folks. There's the return of investment, and there's the return on investment. Two different things. Return of investment that they get paid back. Return on, they want to see their 20%. So the return of the investment, of course, they want to make sure that they get their money out, which means either they're going to sell you or you're going to pay them back. And then the return on it, they want to see 20%. And they want to see 20% as long as they still have money in you. So until they've been paid off, they want to get 20% back. Old money versus new money, absolutely. But there's reactive UI, you get close to 10K a year. That's awesome. Just print some more. Yeah, old money versus new money, absolutely is what we're talking about. I'm going to have a real hard time merging this. I could spend a lot of the rest of the time here going through and doing this merge, and I feel like it's going to get dicey. And I'm running into this same issue that we just looked at over here in the image descriptor, where we move the regex out to a private static, where here it's there's all this logic to go and bring in there's all this logic to go and identify what the regexes are and do this merge. And yet old Microsoft was a West Coast company. But remember, it was founded by two guys who dropped out of Harvard. So. Oh, look at that. Thank you for the host, spacebar. And we didn't get the little alert popping up there for the auto host. Blockchain, all the things. All right, least fixed point. I hear folks say that a lot. Everything needs to be on the blockchain. Blockchain this, blockchain that. Why don't people understand blockchain is the exact same thing as event storage with a hash at the end? It's event storage. I mean, come on, right? How dare you? Fritzcoin as a good example of blockchain. No, not going there. The reality of open source, because it doesn't have sustainability, is people keep burning out. Yes. The software developers with mental breakdowns. Solution is to make open source more inclusive. Yes. Blockchain shouldn't be viewed as a database. So, well, thank you, Spacebar. I appreciate that. There's also the agreement among all participants. Yes. Right, and that's the distributed nature of it and kind of the voting of it. But you do have, right, you have some authority that decides whether to accept a block onto the chain. But for the most part, you're storing an event store. Oh, let's not get into quantum. It's also where Git is different from blockchain. True. Very true. All right. I'm not a fan of changing these titles. I'm okay with the way they are. I don't need this to change, nor the message template. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this constructor here and do some vicious refactoring here to the HTTP page title. Lines 17 and 18 can be precompiled. That's where I was going to go, Jeffrey. Absolutely. And I'm just going to steal my regex here. And because it's a regex, it needs to be a static, read-only regex. That's fine. I'll leave it like that. Nuts, I forgot the parenthesis. Like this. Regex options. Compiled. Regex options. Ignore case. Cool. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Static. Read only regex. Now, come on. I typed new and it still replaced it with name of. Ignore case, regex options, compiled. All right. Yes, I am using Karnak keys. Absolutely. I may not notice the stream for a bit. 10 minutes left. Uh-oh. 2-0. The English are leading the Swedes. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. Oh, baby. About 10 minutes to go, and the English leading like that. I think it's going to be a fun time in London tonight. Oh, baby. And Croatia later. Right, Croatia versus Russia. Oh, I'm the only one who gets helped by editors and IDEs. No, of course. Oh, and look at that. The Belgians aren't worried about the English, right? Because you beat roll around Neymar there. He was too busy rolling around on the grass to actually score goals. All right. Oh boy, here we go. I'm going to get rid of this and that and that because I purposely want them to break. And they do now down here because we have regex matches. Trying to get the collection of matches. I watch more stream than that game. Good choice, Janescu. Good choice. Well done there. That's right. Good stuff. All right. Any visual studio extensions or tools that you guys can't live without? Oh, and somebody was asking me if I use the C# IDE from JetBrains. I haven't tried Rider, no. I should at some point, but it's not on my agenda. Visual Studio has been great. So, oh man, Captain Peru, where did you get that emote? Ooh la la. Mongo Woo. Wow. From the Mongo channel. Nice. You love ReSharper, okay. Hey, thank you. Alright, so I'm gonna change this. Instead of regex matches, which returns a collection of matches, I can actually make this now. No, I want to change my split. Right, where is it? Hang on. Split down? There we go, that's what I wanted. Alright. Let's make this that. Let's make this that. Let's call this link message template. With the latest updates, I lost my need in ReSharper. Fantastic. That's great feedback, Trap-Off. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. The only real sport is motorsport. Okay. All right. So I should be able to take this and say Earl regex dot matches on full command text and get rid of that. I think I've already got ignore case baked into it, so I don't need it there. Cool. All right. It's a serious issue. Yes, it is. I'm a big fan of how the folks at Stack Overflow give back to open source projects that they use. There's definitely something to be said for organizations donating some of their budget. You know, if you're using an open source project, right? If you're building your infrastructure on Angular, you know what? Throw a couple bucks into the JavaScript Foundation. Angular is supported and built by Google, but a lot of the community around Angular is in the JavaScript Foundation. Throw a couple bucks over to those guys to help them out. If you were buying a library from a control vendor, Infragistics, DevExpress, Telerik, Component One, you'd throw $500 a license to those folks. Time or money is tremendous to help out. You know, to throw $500 over to help the community, and if you're making a donation to a foundation like that, it's tax deductible. So if you were buying the, commercial software, great, you have it, you can use it. But if you're using something open source, make the donation, and your accountants will love it because they get the tax deduction on the backside. So, but your mileage may vary with that. You know, I am not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant. Make sure you talk that through appropriately with those folks. So I'm going to make this title regex match on the source, and I'm already doing ignore case in the title regex. So that should work as well. Got some more down here. Message template dot replace. Well, that goes away because I now have link message template. And that works. Internal regex. I don't need that whole thing. And I can just make this Earl regex. There we go. Is match on that. All right. So is link, and I don't need that argument. And Can it execute? We're only going to execute if it contains... If the full command text contains a link. Alright, I've got one more bit of red. Nope. I think we've got that. 500 to open source maintainer is everything. It pays for date night. Think about that for a moment. You got some pretty expensive dates there, Jeffrey. You could do regex captures and remove the need to have those string replace allocations. Yes, I could do captures. For right now, I just want to get this running again. We'll figure out performance later. I just want to get on the other side of execution, right? Making sure things work. The execute signature changed here. And this should be async. Yeah, I know that. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this dot chat service equals chat service return execute username full command text. So I just delegate, right? I think I can just do that, right? Because the call is not awaited, execution of the current method continues before the call is completed. Right, I think I'm okay with that. Oh, we're into extra time. Still 2-0. The English. Right, shouldn't that... Right, if I do... Where's it yield? Spell yield right. No, not yield. See, I'd like to do a return on that, but it doesn't like it. Return keyword must not be followed by an object expression. Did you intend to return task of T? Oh, that's a void there. No, it's not it. Remove the async to return. Alright. That one. But now I'm getting that. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Less than 2 minutes left of extra time. Oh my gosh. This could be it for the Swedes. Oh man. Oh man. What are we gonna do? Just double checking. Yeah. Unreal. Unreal. All right, so that fixes the title command now. And let's fix spacing. No. Selection. I want to format. Format. Now, why is it out for whatever? All right. I think we've got it. That merged and fixed. That's fixed. Okay. I hear a lot of singing suddenly. Oh, baby. It's a final. Wow. Wow. Well, congratulations, England. That's great. That's really great. Isn't that overwriting a ViChat service a bit risky, non-thread safe? I mean, if you need the dependency, better pass as an argument. You're referring over here. It is being passed in as an argument. Right, this, I think I can turn like that, and it'll still work great. So, I'm okay with that. We could turn this like that. I was doing property injection, but I think we're okay with that change. Let's start it. I'm gonna get rid of these regexes. Cooldown time is up here already, so I don't need that either. I don't think I need either of these. I think I'm okay to delete both. No teams in the World Cup you want to cheer. Oh, that's how I felt also as an American. But hey, gotta find some. And then I started rooting for the Germans, and then the Germans lost out. You still will change if you do 2 executes while the thread is running. No, we're fine. Your favorites were Argentina and Brazil. Yep, they're done. It's an all-European final now. Right, so the final 4 are, right, the Belgians, the English. Who was the other winner yesterday? France. Oh, the French. So, French, the English, the Belgians, and then we're going to find out if it's Russia or Croatia here in a couple hours. Better not root for anyone else. Yes, I am, I'm a bad omen. I don't want France to win it all. No, I can agree with you on that one. France won it recently. Right, and I thought I saw somewhere a statistic that the host country for the FIFA World Cup typically goes deep in the knockout round. Right, gets into the knockout round at least. At least let you know before you can put some money on the other team. I'm going to support the French. That way they lose. How's that sound? Does that work? I'm going to get rid of all of this with the regexes here because I'm not doing that anymore. Because I'm locking in the way the regular expression. France won like 20 years ago. Was it that long ago? No, they won the cup they hosted. Right, it's the Belgians, right? Belgium versus France, and it's going to be England versus the winner of Russia Croatia. As a Frenchman, I can confirm the last time we won was 20 years ago now. Wow, was it that long ago? Okay. 98. Yeah, okay. 98 was in France. 2000, I forget where 2002 was. The last one was in Brazil. Was it Germany? Right, it was Brazil in 2014. Was 2010 Germany? No, it was South Africa. So, only 20 years. Yeah, last time the United States... No, the United States was never in it. We're terrible at football, all right? No matter how much we try and bring in outside influence, no. I learned HTML around when France won the World Cup. Okay, here's configure command cooldown. I think that's okay. And then initialize. And this feels out of place here because it starts something and it never finishes. Raphael, thank you so much for the follow. Yes, that's right. In Brazil. In '94, we made it a bit further. Yeah, this looks weird here. Oh, man. Okay, so there's actually two initializes. iConfiguration, iChat service, iLogger factory. Yeah, config, logger. Yeah, this is going away. I feel like a criminal forensic investigator. Hey, Moz! That's due to the internal you kicked out before. Yeah. Good to see you, Moz. It's been a while. Alright. Yeah, I want to take the current here. And now, after initialize finishes... Need to adjust my Twitch categories. Yeah, this branch has been forgotten too long. What's the matter with my Twitch categories? There's nothing there. They don't show up in .NET. I dropped out of the .NET category here because there was literally nobody broadcasting in .NET. So I adjusted my categories. I got nothing here, buddy. Nope. There's literally nobody broadcasting in .NET. So I wanted to go somewhere where I would pick up some other folks. Yeah. Roar. Hey, look, there it is. Right. Nobody broadcasts in here. Literally nobody broadcasts in it and nobody watches it. So, not in there. So, if you want to do something else, I can take the task of getting the branch up to date. I think we're almost there, though. I think I'm almost there. Right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and then I'm going to have to test this, and I've got a couple other ones in here that we need to look at also. Right, configure services. With the GitHub client. And that's okay. That's fine for right now. Definitely need some unit tests. I completely agree. So it's just these last couple in here, and it's already noon. Right, register commands. This goes away now. Oh man, yeah, this is going to be a real mess. Well, I can drop this block. I'm gonna accept the current here because I don't want to do what I was doing down at the bottom. For the page title, because we moved that out. I can remove this now. So, yeah. Right, here's where it's pivoting to go decide to execute all those other commands. We don't do that now. Now we do command execute. HTTP title, page title should be an extended command, and I've made it one. There it is. So we're okay with that. I think I just want this because all of this stuff got moved out. So for each command in basic commands, then it's going to go try and execute. Yeah, that's fine. So this one, process chat message, add queue processing to sure only. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, this one's a little dicey across two methods. Let me look back at this one. So here's start async versus register commands. I don't need to register commands anymore, so I think I want start async, because the commands are being registered here. Yes, I am using Fira code. Yeah. Okay, so start async stop. So initialize, configure command cooldown. I don't see where is register commands used. It's used right there, of course. Where the heck is that? Oh, over in configure services. That's okay right there. Yep. Okay. So the last one is here. On chat message versus process chat. Well, hang on. On chat message, yeah, this is this wrapper that logs the errors. So I want... And this is using that little internal thing that we ditched. So I want that one. Process chat message, user key, user chat service. Await handle extended commands. Let's make sure that one. Look at that. Async with a value task. Ooh. Can execute commands too fast. After execute, return command dot final. Right. I think that did it. I think that was the last of it. Let's check now. Configure services. I think I resolved that conflict. Yep. And everybody's right. We need to get some unit tests around this. Let's .NET build and make sure. Oh, you stink. I want to build everything. Where is it? Stream tools. No. Ship it. I think that's a great idea. You going for MS test, X unit, or N unit? I believe this one we're using. I thought it was X unit. It might be N unit. Yeah, X unit. So. Come on. Let's make sure it builds. One of my projects I was using N unit in. Can't remember. Let's see here. Build failed. Of course it did. Tell me why. No argument given. Image descriptor command does not contain a constructor. It takes 2 arguments. Image descriptor command does not contain a definition for chat service. All right. Let's start here. So we changed the signature of this. This is all in the test because it's now a image descriptor command. Is now an iExtended command, and it takes a configuration only. And it looks like we dropped. Thank you for the follow, Zav. That's a private set for chat service now. Yeah. Well, and where is it? I don't see chat service. Chat service isn't being passed in here at all. It's being passed in on the execute. Right, so this goes away slightly. And I need to recreate that constructor. String Azure. What was the first one? Azure URL. Azure key. Equals Azure key. I don't use ReSharper. No, I don't. Those were the regexes. No, they weren't. No, it was the configuration being passed in. So what I could do is I could really do it like this. And now everybody's using the same method. Good grief. What do you mean? What's the matter, you named outsider? Nope. Do not use it. So now, instead of doing that, now chat service is actually part of the execute. So I can say chat service dot object. And that should work. That should actually take care of all of my errors in here. What do you think, you named outsider? What are you good griefing about? How can I help? What's your concern? I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I hate ReSharper, so slow. Okay, that's an opinion. There's no argument given that corresponds to the required formal parameter config of this. Why take the iChat service in the execute and not the constructor? Because we don't we need to provide the correct chat service at the time that it's being executed, because there might be more than one that's being configured. We need to send in the correct one. Initialize takes a configuration. Fritzbot also takes a configuration. So I see a problem there. Oh, you know what? I had an internal in here. That's why I had the internal. And that goes away. Because I commands are singletons. Yes. Shouldn't the DI take care of that? I don't want the DI to take care of that because I want to pass in this specific chat service that that is handling the command. DI won't know which one it is. And building. Build succeeded, and my tests are running. Come on. It'll make you feel good. Run those tests. They're still running. They'll be done soon, I promise. Class is constructed once, and afterwards I want to customize behavior. Yes. Then why are they singletons? Transient makes more sense. Even if they were transient, I need to pass in exactly the chat service that it's behaving on. It might be on Mixer, it might be on YouTube, it might be on Twitch. Andres says, I love ReSharper, but lately I've experienced major slowdowns, freezes in the latest versions of Visual Studio. Yeah. I've heard that from folks. Why isn't this running? Go, run, do it now. Do it now. Failed, and it fails for a reason, actually. Okay, those shouldn't all be failing. No service for type. Chatbot commands iBasic command has been registered. So, yeah, this is breaking all of these because we completely refactored how that runs. When initialized, should configure cooldown. Don't want to allocate every command handler on every message received. True. Okay. Should configure cooldown based on the config that's being passed in. So when we initialize, configure command cooldown, configuration root, cooldown time equals, okay. Value cannot be null on the provider here. On initialize. Oh, you know what? Is that on the logger factory? When initialized line 47. Yeah, it is. Logger factory. Still feels a bit dodgy and I can't put my finger on it. Let me know. Okay, so that's because Logger Factory is trying to create something and it should return that it should do that thing. Why didn't it? Value cannot be null. Huh? And then I've still got, okay, this one on get stream data is because I'm actually streaming. Yeah. Because there's actually people watching, so that's correct. But but up here, these are all failing because it's trying to register the chat commands. And because this now behaves differently, all of those fail. But this should work. Let's put a breakpoint in here and let's debug and see what's actually going on. And I love being able to debug right into this from my unit test runner. Okay, so logger factory, if I F11 into this, so I do get a config. All right. Now, logger factory is a thing, and it should execute a create logger here. And logger is a thing. It seems like I missed updating the tests, or were they added later? No, we missed updating the tests. Okay, so here we go. Chat services is null is what's going on there. That's actually okay. Configure command cooldown, so it's going to reach into the config and look for Fritzbot cooldown time, and it has a time for that. If string is null or empty, and now it's calling logger log information, and that ran just fine. So service provider get services. This is erroring out right there on line 52. Right, because service provider is null. Where's service provider coming from? It's in the creation. All right. So let's go back to the unit tests. It's this bit because we're now using the service provider. For the purposes of this test, I'm going to... No, bad example. Bad idea, Jeff. No, wrong button. Wrong button. So iChat, that's fine. It's in this creation right here. I'm not getting all of that. You don't use guard clauses in your constructors and init methods to guard against nulls. Not typically. No. It's not a bad idea, but no. That's just me. So what I'm running into here is the initialize method that I'm calling. I feel like I should be passing heads off this kind of situation by failing fast. You're right. If I pass in service provider and effectively move it down here, I see no reason to bother the GC with more than one. Yeah. I'm going to take this out. Or, no, wait. Let's move you down into here. And let's pass in service provider there. It's a read-only. I need to drop that. Okay, so now I have the service provider, but now I'm going to mock that over here. Yeah. And I've got two references to this. That's fine. So I'm going to mock an service provider to handle get services. And I don't care. I want it to return null. So setup mocks, I'm going to put one more in here. Private eye service, and this is because we're now providing a service provider. We're now using the service provider in our code. Okay. Service provider equals mockery. I'm going to create a mockery of this. Service provider. Okay. Service provider. I'm going to set up. Right, I want to mimic where it says get services. And there's a type. Oh boy. Can I do? No, that's not it. I can't. I'm gonna need to make this an iBasic command. Right, can I do an it? Contains matches for ref, no. I think I missed the reason why there is an independent method for initialize instead of using the constructor. Oh, shoot. This may be an artifact of how I was doing this before. Right, because I could theoretically just do that. Right, I could do that. And then I don't have an initialize method at all. I was using that for a little bit of unit testing. Which means I can get rid of this. But now, right, my chat services, I need to return those appropriately from this. C# code talk to F# Azure functions. It's all RESTful endpoints, right? They're all the same. So I need to set this up to return iChat services, but I'm not actually using those at all here. But I do need to set it up to return, right? I just need to set that up. I don't actually have to tell it to return anything. Who cares if it returns null? But I need to also set it up to return on iBasic command and iExtended command. Object. And now that should do what I need. So service provider is going to be service provider logger factory, and then I can get rid of the initialize call. Right, and that should work. Right, the handler only sends to one service. I'm not sending chat responses to all services. So let's run this test. Invalid setup on an extension method. S get services I chat service. It doesn't support the type result handling, does it? Yeah, not supported. In Smart Hotel Sample, they have APIs where some use Java, some use .NET Core. Right. So I can't do the get services method here like this, unless is there an update to the mocking framework I'm using? This I am using. No. Repo for managing Mach 4. Yeah, what version is this? That's not right. That's where they're working. 73 releases. Just a few. 483, and we are on 482. And what were the changes? Nope. Doesn't fix it. Doesn't fix it, so I don't need to update. I'm not going to get this to work using that approach, which means that I do need a method that already has these calculated out so I can just pass those in. What I should really do is make this and just call it directly. But see, now I'm requiring these to be there to create a new one. Which means I also need a logger. Because I can't get past the get services here through my mock. Boy. What do we do? What do we do? How do I get around this? Let's think. So this is why I hadn't initialized, so that I could push these things out for better testing capabilities. Yeah, that was what it was. It was a testing only constructor. That internal method, right? But I needed the iLogger factory. So I can move that down to there. Config isn't used elsewhere in here. Let's move that one down. And then move that down. Logger factory. All right. For testing, there is a null logger factory you can use for testing, but I do want to be able to analyze that at times. Right, I want to make sure that it does log information. Excuse me. So now I can get rid of that and make sure that it actually does configure. The Q&A Maker APIs in the project need updating. Yes, they do. But I also need to get the Q&A Maker working properly. A new monitor for programming. Anything big. Why initialize the logger in the constructor? Can't you set it as class property directly? You can. But by passing in the logger factory and defining it... Why is my microphone all of a sudden going very low? No, you should be here. That's better. .NET Outdated stated that we're still referencing 2.10 RC1 final. Okay, where? Which project? Because I'm more than happy to fix that. Should configure cooldown. This should work now. Chatbot. All right. Right. This doesn't exist anymore. That No Slevin character is looking for that for sure, as said in his stream. There we go. Alright, so that runs now properly. Good. Now, Chatbot is returning an older version of... Yep, look at that. 2.10 RC1 final. Let's make these 2.11s. Let's force everything to 2.11 while we're here. Restore completed. Rerun all the tests. Lucky number 11 is checking Q&A Maker. No. Rebuild. Make that happen. Stream Tools is using 2.10. Alright. We'll clean that one up next. Chatbot uses extensions configuration abstractions 2.10, which has a higher version than referenced assembly configuration abstractions. What? That's in test. Alright, so I bet you test is all out of date as well. No. Oh, there we go. System I/O abstractions. Can I do that? Will that just work? There is a consolidate new get package versions on the solution. I think that's right. I think we need to do that. But Stream Tools is using an older version as well. Let's push that one up to 2.11. Right. And let me leave that where it was. Check out all of them. Alright, updates. Oh, baby. We've got updates. Lots and lots of updates. Sure, give me all of them. Go. All that Twitch lib stuff I want to pull out. Hey, nice logo there, Joe Bun, for the Mixer lib. Yep, do it. It's gonna explode. No, it won't. Yeah, I use the Favatech. Alright. So it sure looks like it updated everything. Let's see what we get. Yeah. And... okay, this is in Twitch lib, which I don't think we're using anymore here. I thought we got rid of this. Zero references. It's not even there. Because I'm using different methods to do those connections. Right there's more Twitch lib. Service new follower detected. That's in unit tests, which will break if I use this, if I remove this. But I'm going to remove it. Because I changed the service that we're connecting with. Here we are. Right. That's a test that doesn't even work. Because I've had to deprecate those how many times? No, wait a sec. Just make this a public void. And do nothing. That's better. Oh, Mixer's changed a lot over a while here. They've been upgrading their services. They've been getting quite aggressive at improving things. Alright, Twitch service user left is never used. That shouldn't be an error. Why is that listed as an error? Netcore apps, stream tools. Okay, so test is having an issue there. Rebuild. It's been show gotta bounce. Why Twitch versus YouTube live? It's a different audience. Twitch has a much larger audience, and it is a different group of people. It is a more of an outreach into a community that the .NET folks are not in. That's why I chose Twitch. And this error list is not going to play nicely with me. YouTube has a big delay. I'm not as concerned with that. I may need to close and reopen because it's locking files here. Yeah, I'm not wiring up the user left. I mean, even if I put that back in, yeah, I don't want that. It's not wired up to anything. So, I mean, I had almost no lag on Mixer. I think dropping it was the right move. Yeah. So test cannot find stream tools. Twitch service does not implement user left. Right, so I do need that. Even though nothing raises it. Okay. But this one... yeah, alright, hang on. Let's close the solution and reopen it. It's got too many background things fighting for each other. Nope. Alright, why can't the test project find the Stream Tools project? Come on. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, should have. Oh, we're gonna have to run into this anyway. It's not very exciting, but it's the crap that we have to do as developers. This doesn't make sense. Bin debug netcore app could not be found. Bin debug netcore app. Right, because this fires. Why is that an error that is never used? Right, somewhere this is being referenced. Chat user left, chat user left. That's on the bot. Right, but user joined should be raised. Here it is. Mixer service. Chat client user joined. Chat client. There's user joined. I don't have a user departed. Exactly. Why aren't the others in error? I mean, even if I make this null. No. I've never seen that. The event is never used. No references found. The error code is CS067. I could make it an add remove and throw a new not supported on it. And I'm still getting the error. All right, now we're getting on new followers. All right, so now we're into the test where this is tightly coupled to Twitch lib. Right. And actually they're marked as skip. Yeah, these are all marked as skip. So I'm going to nuke these tests because they're using a tool that we don't use anymore. And that should fix that. I don't get it either. But now it's succeeding. Nine test failed. Yeah. So now it's just these ones up here where it's trying to work with commands and the commands aren't there. Because these commands are working directly on the bot and not on the commands. Yes, these tests need to be rewritten. Those other tests that work directly with TwitchLib need to be rewritten. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying the abstraction has leaked out. We're testing and passing something that was being included from an external library. That external library is a dependency that I shouldn't be testing, I shouldn't be referencing. I should be passing my information only that I have control over. And that abstraction, that TwitchLib abstraction, had leaked out into my unit tests instead of passing around just the information that I want. Yeah. Should test behavior, not implementation. That's a great way to describe it, and we violated that here a little bit. All right. not just a git push. It's going to be... There we go. Let's move this over so you can see what I got here. All right. This should have merged now. Yep. Good. All right. And let's delete that branch. A lot less than implementation. Yeah. Exactly. We should be testing the behavior. Oh, that was a lot. All right. And Brave Cobra, I'm going to I'm going to close this. Declining, as we decided this was not a necessary adjustment. Nah, refactoring. All right. That was a lot of code. But we still have to rewrite these unit tests. Oh man. Does Stream Tools actually work now? Of course it does. All my tests pass, so it must work. Let's take a look-see. Well, there's our first problem. It's trying to wire up, and that doesn't do anything. Even if we remove that. I mean, so what? Let it connect up. There we go. Yep, you're getting two messages in there because it's coming out of this one and the other one that I have running as production. Assertions and syntax for XUnit. It's on their website, which is really just a GitHub. I think it's GitHub XUnit. There it is. There you go. XUnit GitHub IO. And all their documentation, which can always use some help. Always. There you go. Documentation. So. All right, we finished a major refactoring of our commands. And I think they're coming along. They're in a great place. They're in a much better place than we had them. And the refactoring that we were doing is now actually merged. That was something we should have done a while ago. It's about 1 o'clock, so I think we're going to stop here and wrap up. So we finished that refactoring. We didn't get to the GitHub ticker today, but that's okay. We can work on that later this week. I think we've got... If the commands are in a better place, we can now make the bot a little bit easier. I think we can work on rewriting some of those unit tests. Yes, absolutely. But it was a necessary merge that had to happen. So I think rewriting these unit tests is now going to become, well, let's actually test the commands directly and not so much test the bot, because the bot just hands off to the command. So I think we're in a much better place for building more tests going forward. More and better tests. Maybe we should spend some time doing that. So, thanks so much everybody for tuning in. Congratulations to Team England for winning their match while we were streaming here together. And I'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll be writing some more code. Yeah, and we'll have a good time. All right. Hey, thanks so much, Braga, for tuning in, and everybody else. Captain Peru, Joe Bun was here, Brave Cobra. There you go, the Skeet command, of course it works. So, thanks so much, everybody, and we will see you next time. Let's raid Dev Chatter on our way out here. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later. There we go. Submitted a PR on F# Learning. Fantastic. I'll take a look over there. See ya, Franklin. Have a good one, everybody. Dev Chatter's coming up next. Bye-bye.